Hi, I'm an old guy and I do maths. Finding the inverse of this trips a lot of people up. So let's just go through this and see how it's done. The first job is to swap the x values for y values. So that is done, and technically speaking, I guess that's the inverse. But what we now need to do is we now need to make y the subject. So what have we done to start with? Well, we've quite simply swapped x for y. We have turned this thing on its head. And as I say, now we're going to try and make y the subject. And this is where people come unstuck. Now, what I am doing here is I'm multiplying both sides by y minus 1. And my next move, and this is just all algebra now, there's nothing really about finding the inverse. Now we're just changing the subject. So I get x times y minus x equals y plus 1. And having done that, I'm going to try and remove this negative x from this side of the equation. So I get xy equals y plus 1 plus x. What I have done is I have added x to both sides of the equation. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move this y to this side of the equation. So I wind up with x times y. I'm going to subtract y from here, and I'm going to subtract y from this side of the equation. And that gives me x times y minus y equals 1 plus x. Now, what can I do here? Well, I can take out a common factor, y. Y times x is the same as x times y, and y times negative 1 will give me y. Now if you expand this, you will get this. Over this side of the equation, I have 1 plus x. Y is on its own here. I can isolate that from this. How do I do that? Well, y is being multiplied by x minus 1. So in order to isolate the x, what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide by x minus 1 on both sides. That has the effect of removing this from the equation, and we have a denominator here of x minus 1. So if I tidy this up, I get y is equal to 1 plus x, that's plus x, over x minus 1. And that is the inverse of that with y as the subject, and that is how it's done. It's not obvious, but that's the process you follow. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you found this useful. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.